Hello, everyone. This is Arcacia with Patch, Peoria Area Association of Christian Homeschoolers, and we are excited to be back. We're doing our family spotlights again, where we get introduced to a homeschooling family and we get to know them a little bit more and how their homeschooling journey started and is going. And it just gives us a time to encourage one another. So we're really excited. Tonight we have Yvonne and Mclean Wendt. Did I say that right, guys?
Yes.
I'm always afraid I'm going to butcher names. So we have Yvonne and Mclean. Yvonne is actually our newsletter editor here at Patch. And so we're excited to get to know them a little bit better and see how their homeschooling journey has started and things like that. So guys, why don't you tell us a little bit about your family, your kids, their ages, and those kinds of things.
Well, we have 3 kids. We have an 11-year-old daughter. We've got her name's Christina, and then we've got McLean Jr., who is 8, about to turn 9, and Moses, who's 7.
That's great. And how long have you guys been married?
Oh, we've been married since 2009. So I guess this will be our 15th year anniversary in May.
15 years. Congrats.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you guys, or first of all, how long have you guys been homeschooling?
4 years now.
4 years. Was it because of COVID is why you started, or what was the reason why you started homeschooling?
Yeah, I would say COVID started us down the journey, or at least pushed us along. But I think you had some feelings before COVID and had some concerns before going down this path. So really, COVID was what really pushed us to start homeschooling and to get more knowledgeable about it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's true. We actually started homeschooling during COVID, like Mclean said, and as a family, we found out that we really enjoyed it. It gave us a chance to, as a family, spend more time with each other. It allowed the kids to learn at their own pace, and also it gave the kids more energy. For example, my kids are able to pursue their passions, such as learning how to play the piano, learning how to play the guitar, playing sports, and join co-ops, meet other friends. So it gave them that energy that they needed to be kids, basically.
Right. That's a great thing about homeschooling is you find that energy, and then you, like you guys said, you find that when you started homeschooling, you really enjoy it. You enjoy being around your family and spending time with your family.
And also not being so drained with all those activities, since you do have more freedom in your schedule.
Yes,
right. That's definitely true with homeschooling.
And another key aspect, or 2 key aspects early on that got me excited about homeschooling. One was the idea of kids earning their associates when they graduate high school, but more so being able to calibrate their education to the kids' specific needs. So like our kids have some strengths and some deficits as individuals and different ones. And so Vonnie's definitely been able to cater to those needs and also to stimulate where they are advanced.
Well, that's great. So do you guys follow a particular method of homeschooling or curriculum? And if so, what is that?
Well, we are mostly parent-led homeschooling. Sometimes the kids provide their input. For example, if they're interested, they were interested in learning about rocks and minerals. My kids are crazy about that. They want to find gold and all these different types of rocks. So we actually purchased a big book on rocks and minerals, and we actually live on a 3-acre lot of land. So my kids love to go out and explore the land. They dig up fossils, they dig up rocks. They actually grew ice crystals one year with Mclean in our aquarium at home.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, we did an experiment. Well, Bonnie was doing land formations with them, and actually, it started off with doing erosion, and so we had the aquarium and went out and got some big rocks, some little rocks, and then down to sand, and then I got a little pump, and so we set the pump up so that the water would trickle from one end of the tank and then down to pool in the other end of the tank. And so the kids got to see how it created like little streams and rivers, the little caves. And then after we got done with that experiment, that was when then I dumped a bunch of salt in the water. And so then it formed salt crystals throughout so they could kind of see how the natural mineral deposits work. So.
Oh, that's really cool. Have you guys heard about that? I believe it's a park in Arkansas that you can go and you can dig for diamonds.
Oh yeah.
Might be something to check out as a family trip. I think it's in Arkansas, but it's a really famous park that actually the whole purpose of people going there is to dig for diamonds. And it's not like the diamonds that you would see in a jewelry store, you know, the nice precious cut and shiny, those kind of things, but there are actually real diamonds. So maybe just put that on your guys' to-do list for family trips or something.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yes.
So what has been the biggest surprise while homeschooling?
For me, the biggest surprise was the amount of time it takes to homeschool each child. For example, like for kindergarten and first grade, you can spend about an hour. Second and third grade up, you can spend anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. And so it's just the amount of time, I guess, that we have to teach the kids. So what about
And they learn so much during that short amount of time too. I mean, in a public school setting, they're spending 7 or 8 hours a day in that school setting, but you know, it's not all learning time. It's, you know, getting them to sit still, and you got lunch, and you got recess, and you got gym and other things. And then you have teachers that have to specialize to one student in their class. And so the other students are not necessarily learning at that time. So it really is a surprise on how much time you save in your day when you're homeschooling, because a lot of people, that's one of the things that people tell me when I tell them that I'm homeschooling. Well, how long does it take? Well, I'm like, honestly, it only takes a few hours a day. And then once my kids are done with their general work, they actually have time to be able to explore things that they're passionate about. And those are the, you know, or like, for instance, I have one that's in driver's ed right now, and that's in the afternoon. So he gets most of his schoolwork done in the morning. And then by the afternoon, he's got his driver's ed class, and then he's done for the day. And he's using that time to explore and figure out, you know, right now we're working on what does he want to do after college or after high school. Exploring that. But there was another perfectly good, we took him to ICC. Actually, I took both my oldest boys to ICC at the homeschooling day this past week. And my youngest son was actually his first time at ICC, and they did a work test on there where they actually had you answer questions about things that you're passionate about and things that you like to do. And so it's kind of like a personality test, but it's only geared towards figuring out what you like to do with your life. And he did the shorter version because that's what they had time for. Well, he was so excited about it that he came home after that day, that afternoon, and wanted to do the bigger test, which is like 60 questions.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's things like that where they can really explore their passions and what they enjoy.
Yes.
And then they have time to do that because they're not sitting behind a desk wasting time. And a lot of times during a public school setting, you have a lot of wasting time.
Yes.
Yeah. That was there was something I heard, I think, on a podcast about it was talking about high schoolers, and I think it was a particular type of schooling. It wasn't necessarily homeschooling, but it was or it was kind of a homeschooling type thing. But it was talking about the kids going out. They had to go out and find a professional, someone in the community, and someone to mentor, and to go talk to them and try to get a apprenticeship from them. And I thought that's something that homeschooling high schooler kids would definitely have a lot more availability for, is to be able to pursue an apprenticeship or even just jobs. I know we went to the Christmas tree farm and noticed it was a school day, and there was and then there was a high schooler there, and we're like, she was manning the register, and it was like, checked with her, and yeah, she was a homeschooler. In fact, she recognized us from one of the co-ops that we belong to. I'm bad with faces, so I'm not good at recognizing people, but yeah. Well, so I mean, those kind of opportunities, yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of opportunities. I'm really excited as kids get older and to learn from people, families like you guys who have been in it for decades to really help us navigate these paths. So.
Well, I know, for example, one of my sons, actually the same son that I was talking about. Actually, no, it was my oldest son. He was looking at wood building, and we had a family friend who was a wood builder, a couple miles away from us, and he wanted to do a class. And so he did a shop class on building things. And so for about 6 or 8 weeks, my son once a week went over to his shop and he learned wood building. And he wouldn't have necessarily gotten that in a public school setting. And he could have done that at any time during the day because of his homeschooling. He wasn't constrained about certain times of the day that he could do that. So it was really nice that had an opportunity to pursue something that he was interested in. And he actually built a couple cool projects. One was like a marble run. It's like 8 feet tall. But I mean, it was a good opportunity for him. So yes, definitely there are opportunities. And like you said, mentioning when they're actually in the workforce, they're not, constrained to a normal time frame as what a high schooler would be as far as when they can work. Homeschoolers have that freedom. So definitely time is definitely a plus, and it can be a surprise when you actually start homeschooling, realizing how much free time you have when you're homeschooling. So going on with some questions I have for you guys here. What has been your biggest challenge while homeschooling? Because I know we all have those moments where we, encountering a challenge, and all of our challenges could be different. So what is something that has challenged you guys while homeschooling?
You have some? I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. For me, the biggest challenge is accepting the fact that I'm doing enough for my kids. And also not overwhelming my children with so many subjects.
Okay.
So.
Well, I can definitely relate to that because my oldest daughter, when she graduated high school, she's 23 now, and she graduated from a 4-year college. But when she graduated high school, I had that fear. I'm like, oh no, did I do enough with her? Did I do everything that she needed to know? And what if I missed something? So it's definitely, I get it. And as moms, we can kind of beat ourselves with that, but we need to really realize that, God has entrusted us with our children, and we love them, and He's given us everything that we can that we need when we're teaching them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I guess my frustration is I wish I could be more involved. I wish I had the amount of time to devote to it, and I also I'm trying to just look for ways where I can help support and also help out where I can, but then also make sure that I guess what I have concerns about is having Bonnie think that I don't have confidence in what she's doing if I'm trying to lend help. And so I want to try to reassure her that I'm really happy with the way that she's teaching our kids and how things are progressing. So that kind of encouragement for her to support her, but then also look for other ways that I can also be more involved.
Well, those are some great insights, and I know some moms and dads can definitely relate to those challenges. So what are some things that you guys would like to see more of in the homeschooling community? Because you guys have been homeschooling for 4 years now, you said, and I've been homeschooling for 23 years. And so I'm just curious to see, what would you guys like to see more in the homeschooling community?
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, I'm particularly interested in the paternal role in homeschooling, and like I said, I want to figure out how I can be more involved with the kids, and I would love to have some sort of like fathers club where we get together, gather the kids up, give mama a break, and try to do things with kids, either STEM related, more outdoorsy, and even maybe just like more unstructured time so that the kids can kind of figure out how to interact with each other. But kind of the things that us fathers might be a little better suited for pushing the kids to push their limits and find out how to interact with the world. And then also just have the support of other fathers to gain their insight and what they're struggling with, or how they've overcome, more so how they've overcome the issues that they've had to lead their families through. Sure, yeah. And then the other thing too, so like Bonnie's just started being the newsletter editor, so we're also looking to become more involved with the community. We've been kind of somewhat passively involved over the past few years, going to patch events and some other things. Bonnie's been more involved and is still more involved than I am, but like to just be kind of consistently in the community and getting some deeper relationships with other families.
Well, this is a great start, getting other families to know you and be able to encourage, because I know I've known people that have watched these videos and have just been encouraged and realizing that they're not alone in their homeschooling journey. And a lot of times we do share some of the same struggles and difficulties and some of the same joys, but also see that, everybody's homeschooling life is different, and that's okay. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, definitely large variance in the families.
Yvonne, did you have anything that you wanted to see in the homeschooling community?
I suppose it would be nicer if there were more homeschool gatherings and get-togethers. A chance for the parents to, get to know one another, the kids to be able to go out and play with each other. It would be kind of cool to have a homeschooling community where, all of us live together in the town, so our kids to play, we all know each other, like,
we all live on the same cul-de-sac,
Yeah, so we were kind of talking about that. We watched one of the recent interviews with the Apologia.
Oh, Rachel and Davis Carmen.
Yes. Yeah, the interview I think a couple weeks ago, and they mentioned that when they had their first child, they lived in a neighborhood that had 3 homeschooling families, or a block or something like that. And that was crazy. And I mean, it got us thinking, if we do move, I mean, it'd be wonderful to find a nice neighborhood that had multiple homeschooling families. Yeah, nice park and homeschooling families, and get the studies done by lunchtime and in the afternoon. Seems like a really cool lifestyle.
Yes. And they're playing in the street. I know with us, our first house that we raised our kids in, we lived there for 15 years. We were the only homeschoolers, and we lived on a dead-end street. And all the other kids went to public school. And believe me, my kids struggled with acceptance with public school kids because of that. Then we moved from that house to a small town, and our next door neighbors were homeschoolers. And then we moved to this house, and a couple doors down, there's some homeschoolers. So it's definitely interesting where God has positioned us, and who He's put in our lives at that time.
Yeah.
Well, a couple more questions. Actually, I have a surprise question I'm going to throw at you guys at the end here. But what is one lesson that you guys have learned while homeschooling your kids?
Well, I guess for me, I mean, that's a lot of work and it's a lot of commitment. I mean, we kind of talked about the excess time in the schedule for getting the studies done, but I mean, it is definitely a lot of work for Bonnie, selecting the curriculums and doing her lessons and coordinating everything. So it is a lot of work and commitment, but that's true of any worthwhile endeavor. And after all, there aren't too many things that could compete as a worthy endeavor as educating your kids. So the in the increased amount of time especially Bonnie gets to have with the kids is very important. It's priceless. I mean, the time that we have with them are limited until they grow. So, wish I was here more during the day to take advantage of that.
Well, I know Todd Wilson from Feeling Man Ministries, he has a famous quote that I love, and he says, "Homeschooling is hard, but homeschooling is good." And I love that quote because yes, homeschooling is hard. You know, we make a lot of sacrifices when we choose to homeschooling, but our time that we use and invest in our kids, it makes it so good and so worthwhile.
Right. And actually, I mean, even though I am at work, and at times I work at home, and so that's great to be around when they're at work, at home. But another thing is I also have the ability to have the kids come with me to work. So like at times, so like just this afternoon, McLean Jr. had a haircut and Moses had piano lessons. So Bonnie dropped McLean Jr. off with me, and it was a pretty busy day. We had a bunch of customers in the office, but it was nice for they got to see him. He started drawing on one of my schematics, and he was drawing a generator, which was kind of cool. He did a really good job drawing it. He almost wired it correctly. But then he also got to see how I interacted with the other adults, and how I interacted like with my customers, my subordinates. And we've done that a fair amount of times, is having the kids come by my workplace for whatever reason. If I'm taking our daughter to her co-op, and there's either a podcast or a book. The podcast it was Family Teams. The book was Taking Back Your Family, but it was the author that is part of that podcast, and he talks about the division between like family life and work life, and especially when you have like a single breadwinner in the family, and there can be that time or there can be that conflict of where it seems like work is pulling dad's attention away from the family.
Right.
And what they're talking about is trying to integrate that. So it's not seen like work is pulling their attention away, but they actually have a stake in it. And part of that, the kids seeing my work, being around, I think that's very helpful and educational for them. And I think we can do that more frequently because of the homeschooling.
And that's good, right? I can't talk now. It's been a long day. But like I said, that's another great opportunity that you're mentioning with homeschooling. Is my husband's the same way. We own our own business. It's a Redeemer Handyman company. And so he's taken our kids, with him to work, and they actually get to figure out things and, troubleshoot problems and figure out how to wire things or work on plumbing or install water heaters, install furnaces. And it's been a really great opportunity that he gets to, and all the kids fight over who gets to go with dad when it's time. Mainly because they know that it includes lunch.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Year after or one of the years while I was in grad school, I didn't have anything going on, so I just spent the summer working with my dad as a, I don't know, 23, 24-year-old man, and that was just a really valuable experience. We rebuilt part of the barn, and it was really cool, but short period, but to be able to prolong that throughout adolescent and their teen years, that goes to that just invaluable time that you get to spend with them.
That's true. Well, Yvonne, did you have anything to add to that?
No.
McLean pretty much summed it up, right?
Yes.
Well, one last surprise question that I thought of while I was talking to you guys here is, how has your guys' faith encouraged you in your homeschooling journey?
Thank you for adding that one.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes, it is.
Well, I guess with God, all things are possible.
Mhm.
So we can rely on God in those tough times where it doesn't seem uh, like we can do this. And it definitely gives us the opportunity to share our faith with the kids in more in depth than we probably would with just having evenings and weekends together.
Mhm.
We tend to do Bible devotional daily. And in the evenings, Mclean reads the Bibles to the kids, and we have discussions. Also, we have watched in the past we have watched the Beginner's Bibles videos, and we watch
Mhm.
Bible Project.
right, yes, that
Yeah,
too as
those are-
well. We watch a lot of videos on that. So we do talk a lot about our faith, and we try to be role models. We're not perfect, but
Right.
try to be really good role models for our kids too. And we purposely put them in communities like Christian environments, so that they are, how would you say that? They're surrounded or exposed to that type of environment.
The Christian
Well,
couple.
yeah. And it definitely helps them with their biblical worldview. And then, like you said, you have lots of discussions as a family, and it helps cement that biblical worldview when they see it in their family life, and then they get to talk about it with their parents. Our family is the same way. We use opportunities to discuss things around the dinner table and talk about what we heard, what we see. Every Sunday after church, one of the main things that we do when we're eating dinner is, okay, what did you guys think of the message today? And so each child will get a chance to say, a couple minutes about what they thought was the purpose of the message and what it was teaching them and what they were learning about God. So it's definitely great opportunities. Well, I wanted to include that in there because I know that homeschooling can, especially when we are walking our faith out, that it pairs along right with our faith in our homeschooling journey.
Well, I kind of want to add on to that because when you guys were here and your husband was talking about the catechism that you guys, I think, were studying as a family. So Vonnie's actually ordered, was that a BJU?
Oh, it's the master books,
Oh, it's
the
master book.
Foundational Truth by, I believe it's Israel Rain. I hope I'm saying
Oh,
his-
is it Wayne? Yep.
Yes, and we actually are in the process of switching curriculum. So in the fall, we're going to be starting BJU. So we're getting more into Bible-based type curriculum. In the past, we just kind of we shied away a little bit. We just kind of kept it a little separate. We still did Bible devotionals. We read the Bible to the kids, but our studies did not involve so much.
Wasn't as structured.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But the co-op that we attended, the kids would read apology of science books and such. So they still had that. I'm
No, we got the court. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. So one thing though is, I think you talked about getting at that, but I also suggested that if we could do that in the evening when I'm home, and that way we can work through. Now that is for Christina's age level, is that right, or is that?
I'm sorry.
The book that you just ordered.
Oh, it's for the family.
Oh, it's for the family. Okay, good. But yeah, so that we are doing it all together as a family, and just trying to be a little bit more diligent, disciplined about that family discipleship time.
Yeah, it's very important. I know my husband, he's been starting just the past couple of weeks, taking some time out with his oldest boys, who my oldest sons are 18 and 16. To kind of give you an idea of the age frame there. But he's doing a video series with them about biblical manhood. And I believe that Paul Washer is the host of it, who's been doing the speaking. But it's nice that they could take that time every evening or the few evenings a week that they do it and just purposely pour into each other and learn together. It's definitely a great opportunity, and I highly recommend it. I'm excited to see that you guys are going to be starting something like that. Yeah. So we're going to kind of go ahead.
Isn't your husband doing a session at the convention
Yes, yeah, actually he's doing, we're doing a few sessions, actually. My husband is doing one for dads. So, that was really popular 2 years ago, when he did it. Lots of dads. It was standing room only. And so he's bringing that one back and doing that one again. And then, we're doing one together about marriage, biblical tools for your marriage.
Mhm.
And then I'm doing one that is on homeschooling legally in the, state of Illinois,
Right,
because we do have lots of newer homeschoolers, especially people that have been homeschooling because of COVID. So some great opportunities.
I'll definitely want to go to that dad's one. So.
But we're definitely excited about it. And we're excited that convention's coming up soon. Well, it was great to have you guys here tonight, Yvonne and Mclean Wendt with us, learning more about their homeschooling journey and how it started and where it's going. Thank you guys for taking the time to sit with us and just get to know you a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And as always, guys, if you want to be a family spotlight person, you can. You just need to give us a message. You can Facebook us, private messages on Facebook, or email us at peoriaapache.gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram. Let us hear from you, and we would love to connect with you guys too. Thanks, guys, again for coming.
Thank you. Have a good night.